What's up, everybody? This is MJ, and welcome to our Tuesday training broadcast. We're coming out to you a little later than we normally do. So, if you're joining me live, thank you for joining. And if you're watching this on replay, thank you for joining as well. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can break the three patterns that are blocking your entrepreneurial freedom. And I'm speaking specifically, of course, to Black women, which is who I work with to build your freedom focused shops and boutiques. But what we have to recognize is that first, in order to get a result that is different from what you've always gotten, you've got to break away from what you are already used to doing. And usually, the things that are most damaging and the most conflicting with you having the success and the freedom you want are those deep seated habits and patterns that can be difficult to even recognize if you don't know what to look for. So, if you have been in the desiring to start your shop and boutique for months or years and haven't quite been able to get over the hump, it's likely that you are a victim to at least one of the three patterns we're going to be talking about today. So grab a pen and paper and listen up, because you're going to get something valuable from our discussion today. So like I said, there are three patterns that are stopping you, or at least one of these three patterns is usually what's stopping you from getting where you want to get in your retail business. And the first one we're going to talk about, the first pattern is, I can figure it out myself. Now, for you Black ladies out there, how many of you have heard of the strong Black woman? Have you, it might have been something that people have called you. I call it a caricature. I call it a stereotype, because it's very, very damaging. That strong Black woman, yes, a lot of Black women are strong, but where that comes in to be a negative, besides in our relationships and in other ways, is that a lot of time it's difficult for us to ask for help. And we think that just through pure grit and tenacity that we can figure out anything we need to figure out on our own. Even to the point of thinking that we can put together a 6 or 7 figure retail business that can compete in the marketplace. We can figure it out on our own. I'm out here on YouTube, I'm out here on Google, I ask people here and there what I should do. And so it seems like you should be able to figure it out on your own. But here's the thing. The people who figure things out on their own usually spend a lot more money, thousands of dollars, a lot more time, precious years of your life making mistakes and errors because of what you don't know. Because here's what's true. As a creative, which you probably are, that's what led you to want to have a boutique. You probably have a product that you create or want to resell for somebody else. As a creative, you probably don't have that business acumen that you need to actually build a thriving business that's more than just a nighttime and weekend hobby. And so when you have that idea that as a strong Black woman, I can just figure this out on my own. If I'm clever, I'm smart. And guess what? There are things in your life that you are able to figure out on your own, right? It's not saying that we can't, but just going at it and thinking that eventually I'll just be able to crack the code on something that, quite frankly, people spend years building brands and years building stores, the stores that you shop in. They don't just figure that stuff out on their own. But that strong Black woman caricature that I mentioned earlier, that is where a lot of Black women fall short, because it makes us think that we should not ask for help and that we should know everything and be able to figure everything out on our own. It's given to us in media. It's given to us a lot of times in our families. It's given to us in so many different ways that we can just figure it out on our own. But here's what's true. You already are working a job that you probably don't like, doing something that you don't enjoy anymore, that's not fulfilling, underpaid, and you don't have more years and thousands of dollars to spend trying to figure it out on your own. It's okay to ask for help. And not only is it okay to accept that you can't figure it out on your own, it's actually wise. Because most things in life that are of any value, the things that are going to get you where you want to go, to get you to your entrepreneurial freedom, where you have the time and you have the income and the flexibility to do what you want to do and move the way you want to move in life, those things aren't something that can be figured out easily. Because if it were, everybody would already be six-figure CEOs. Everybody's store would be successful. A lot of the people out here who are struggling in the retail space are those who are just winging it and trying to figure it out on their own. And the thing is, if I'm right about you, you don't have any more time to waste. You have already been spending a lot of time and a lot of money on your business idea, not to see it come to fruition, and you're ready to turn a corner. So that first pattern that you need to break is the idea that you can just figure out on your own how to run a successful business. This is not talking to people who are just doing it as a hobby. If you're just doing it as a hobby on the side after you work your day job, perfectly fine for you to keep winging it. But I'm talking to the people who want this year to be your year where you can walk away from your job, or at least be this close to walking away from your job and into your freedom. You don't have time for the figure it out on your own pattern to tie up more of your time, right? And the second pattern we're going to talk about is closely related to I can figure it out myself, and it's if I keep at it, eventually it'll work. This one is a place where a lot of people go to hide. This is the idea that people don't want to accept that their idea could actually fail, that their idea could actually not come to fruition. And so you say, if you don't get this turned around now, what's going to happen to your business? Oh, I'll just keep at it. I'll never stop trying. But here's what's true. If you're doing the things that are wrong, if you're doing things that are actually setting your business back further, if you're doing things that are wasting time and resources and energy, if you are doing things that are counter to building the brand and the notoriety and the revenue and the traffic that you want for your shop, just because you keep at something doesn't mean that eventually it will work out. If you continue to do the wrong things in your business, it's not going to work out just because you keep doing it. And that pattern, it's really tricky, that second pattern that we're talking about, because it sounds like I'm a person that's never going to give up. I'm going to keep at it. I'm tenacious. I'm not a quitter. And in and of itself, those traits are good. Not being a quitter, being willing to keep going even when things aren't working, that by itself is good. Where it goes off the rails is that you are continuing to do something that's never going to work. Like, for example, if I get in my car from Louisville, Kentucky, and head west on all the highways that are headed west out of here, I'm never going to get to the East Coast. I will hit water and I'd have to cross water and go across, Asia, Europe, and all that, and hit more water to finally get to the East Coast. But as far as being on land, as far as being on dry land, I can go west as long as I want to. I'm never going to get to the East Coast. And if my destination is to get to Myrtle Beach and I head west from here, I'm not going to get there. And I can say, oh, I'm just going to keep driving. I'm never going to give up. I'm going to keep filling up my car with gas. I'm going to keep driving every day. I'm going to eat up the miles. Guess what? I'm never going to get to Myrtle Beach if I head west from Louisville. And the same thing is true of your business. You can just say, I'm going to keep going. Eventually it's going to work out. But if you are not going at it the right way, if you are not building a proper foundation for your business, if you are not doing the things that are going to get you where you want to go, and not doing things that will stop you from getting where you want to go in the business, it's not going to work out. Your boutique is going to shut its doors as quickly as if you ever get it open, because it's not true that all you have to do is keep going. I mean, I know we like to say that. I'm just going to stick with it. All you got to do, if you stay at it, eventually it'll work. That is not true. Because if you're staying at something that's not built for success, you can keep doing it, and all that's going to do is buy more failure for your business. And I don't want that for you. And I know you don't want that for yourself. So that second pattern of I'm just going to keep at it and eventually it's going to work out just magically because I kept doing what I'm doing right now that's already not working, that's very damaging. And you need to let go of that pattern if you ever want to step into your entrepreneurial freedom. Now, there are times when you do need to keep at things when it doesn't seem like it's working. Like sometimes it just takes a while for things to take off. I'm talking about patterns of continuing things that are never going to work, things that are the wrong things for you to be doing from a marketing perspective, from a service perspective, from a supply chain perspective, and all these other things that go into boutique success. Continuing to do the wrong things in those scenarios is not going to magically turn into something good just because you keep at it. You've got to break that pattern if you ever want to get to your entrepreneurial freedom. So we've talked about the I can figure it out pattern. I can figure it out myself pattern that you need to break. We've already talked about the if I keep at it, eventually it'll work out pattern. And then the third pattern we're going to talk about that's blocking you from your entrepreneurial freedom that you need to break right now is the one that it says it's not that bad. This is another place where people go to hide when the truth is painful. And a lot of times they're in this place of saying, oh, it's not that bad. I only made $300 in my business in the last 3 months, but it's not that bad. Eventually it's going to work out. Eventually it'll happen. I'm not that pressed. My job isn't that bad. Guess what? People who love their jobs, people who are fulfilled and well paid and getting where they want to go in their career, do not quit their job to jump out on their own. Very rarely do they quit their job to jump out on their own and start a boutique because things are going great at work. What's true is that for many of you, you cannot stand your job. For many of you, you are miserable in your current employment. For many of you, your financial situation is dire, and you know that the only way out is if you claim your own freedom, claim your own, put yourself in control of your own finances and in control of your time by owning your own business. That's why you're watching this broadcast right now. That's why you're seeking everything you can to get your retail boutique or shop off the ground, because you know that where you are right now is that bad. And then the other place that people go to hide when they start out, but they don't know the numbers behind their business, or they don't know all the pieces that go into building a successful shop. And so you feel like, well, things aren't that bad because at least I'm trying. At least I have a Shopify. At least I have, I sold 2 things last month. And you go into this place of hiding because it's better to say it's not that bad than to admit it is that bad. I have no idea how I'm going to pay for my kids' college. I have no idea how I'm ever going to be able to walk in my purpose if I don't get out of this job and into my own situation quickly. So you have to be honest with yourself about your motivations for doing what you're doing. And most people, like I said, who are completely fulfilled and recognized and in a good position in their jobs are not looking to leave and jump out and take on the risk of entrepreneurship. Every once in a while, someone does. But for the most part, that's not what people do. You want to pursue this because things are that bad. It doesn't mean you're not grateful that you have a job. It doesn't mean that there weren't some good years. It doesn't mean that everything is bad in your life. But to admit that I'm not happy where I am, and that's why this business is so important to me. Admitting that and admitting that it is that bad is going to be the first step to getting the help that you need to move your business where you want it to go. And having a website and having a Shopify that nobody's buying from is not having a business. If you are not constantly um, in, selling your products and services to somebody who's giving you money in exchange for them, you are not in business. You have a hobby at that point. And so the it's not that bad pattern needs to be broken, because until you are 100% crystal clear on what's at stake and how dire the situation is, you're never going to step out of your comfort zone to fix it. And that's just the truth. If things are okay and you're fine with where you are, why would you take on the risk of starting a business? Why would you do anything outside of the mode if everything's fine? We say things aren't that bad when we're afraid to step out of our comfort zone and take it to the next level. And so we're like, oh, it's not that bad. Think about the last time you maybe tried to diet or do something for your health to change it, but then things got difficult when you realize you can't have all the snacks you want to have, or you got to work out 4 times a week or whatever those things were. And then maybe you got to thinking, maybe it's not that bad that I can't breathe in my pants. Maybe I just need to go and buy a new wardrobe at the next size up and that'll be good enough. Right. Or maybe even in a relationship, when you thought about maybe getting a divorce or breaking up with your boyfriend, and you looked at it and you were like, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to go through all the trouble of changing out my relationship. And so maybe it's not that bad and you stay more months, more years. It's the same thing when you say that you want to start a boutique and you want to be self-employed, but then you say, I don't know if it's really that bad, the situation I'm in, but you're not really being honest with yourself, because some dream of yours drove you to want to start your own boutique, and you didn't do it so you could make $200 every other month inconsistently. You need a 6 or 7 figure business so you can replace your income from your job, create the lifestyle that you want and the freedom that you want. And so unless you're able to do that, and that's your purpose and that's your dream, then it is that bad when you have to do that and you can't get to that place in your business. And so the pattern of it's not that bad is very damaging, as well as I can figure it out by myself. And if I keep at it, eventually it'll work out. Those 3 patterns are the ones that keep women stuck in jobs that they hate, stuck with a bunch of inventory that you can't sell, stuck spinning your wheels and not being able to know how you're going to pay for college for your kids and all those things. Being willing to break these three patterns is what's going to move you into your entrepreneurial freedom. And once you are willing to break these patterns, there is nothing that can stop you from getting the help you need to take your boutique to the next level. And so if you are sick and tired of telling yourself these lies, because that's what they are, and break these patterns, if you're ready to break those patterns, or even if you don't know how to break those patterns and you want to break those patterns so that you can have the business that you really deserve and the business that you've been dreaming about, then I invite you to reach out and book a call with me, your free breakthrough call at www.melaниehunter.com/chat. It's an absolutely free call where we will get on and talk about what are the patterns that have been holding you back? What are the lies that you are telling yourself every single day as you continue living a life that's not authentic to what you believe your purpose to be and the life you want to live? And then we're going to look at where do you really want to go and what's really true about what you want? What's your real dream? And then we're going to map out a game plan to get you there as quickly and as profitably as possible. But it starts with you making a decision to admit that you're not where you want to be, to admit that you can't figure it out on your own, to admit that, yes, it is this bad and I need help to get past this place that I'm at. And you realize, no, I can't figure this out on my own. When you get to that place of authenticity, the world will open up to you. But it starts with a decision and a willingness to let go of those patterns. And so I'm ready to talk to you in the next couple of days. I've got some spots on my calendar, melaniehunter.com, Melanie with 2 L's, hunter.com/chat. Let's have a conversation. If your business isn't worth a 45-minute conversation, how serious can you really be about it? But I know if I'm talking to you that you are serious. And so go out there and book your call. Be sure to fill out the application that pops up afterwards, because that's the only way we can confirm your booking. And then let's have a call. Let's have a conversation. www.melaниehunter.com/chat. It's been my pleasure to share with you again today about breaking these three patterns that are blocking your entrepreneurial freedom. I'll be back again in a couple of days with another exciting topic to help you to break free from the 9-to-5 grind and step into your freedom boutique. But meanwhile, you don't have to wait till I come back. Book your call right now and let's have a conversation to get you on the right path as quickly as possible. We'll chat soon. I'll see you next time. Take care. Have a nice night. Bye-bye.